There are normal pranks, and then there are pranks that take things a little too far. Let's just say I'd hate to be the guy on the receiving end of any of these. Sometimes it feels like we live in a world that's constantly moving. But I guess this is what happens when a prank gets someone to stick around for a while. If it wasn't obvious, this isn't your typical floor. It's been plastered with sticky goo and placed on the ground to stop victims dead in their tracks. Let's just hope that none of these people had any important meetings to get to, because something tells me they're gonna be here for a while. When trying to get from one floor to the next, the elevator is almost always the quickest option. But in this case, maybe the elevator is a bit too quick. It begins with the producer escorting their victim to the elevator. But the second they step in, this happens. Yeah, this Japanese show took pranking to a new level by dropping the floor right from under their victim's feet. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather not be covered in weird goo on my way to the first floor. New Fear Unlocked, anyone? At one point or another, I think we've all been caught by a speed camera for driving too fast. But imagine driving down the road and getting caught by one with legs? Remy Gayard tried this gag on every type of transportation you could imagine. Cars, trains, planes. But unfortunately for him, he may have tried the joke one too many times. I guess he met his match. A nice warm shower is always a good way to start your day. But in this prank show, that's not really the case. It always starts off as a normal shower. That is, until the unsuspecting victims realize they have an unwanted visitor. Seriously, if this ever happened to me, I don't think I'd step into a shower ever again. Picture this. You're sitting around just waiting for something to happen. Then suddenly the entire desk slides open. She wouldn't be the only one, though. Staying hydrated is very important, and when you're thirsty, sometimes the only way you can get water is to find your nearest water fountain. Just stay away from this one, because it's been rigged to spray water with more pressure than you've ever seen. They might as well be drinking out of a fire hydrant. There are many different ways to try to get people to stop littering. For starters, a simple sign should do. Or you could do what this guy did, which might be one of the most creative ways to get people to throw away their trash. You know the saying, reduce, reuse, recycle. What if we added the phrase, run away, to that slogan? TNT might go down in history as having one of the most dramatic promotional campaigns in the entire world. In Belgium, the entertainment network placed a mysteriously large red button and invited unsuspecting passersby to push to add drama. And the ones who were brave enough to actually do it probably got a bigger show than they bargained for. Because once the button was pressed, chaos ensued with stage fights, gunfire, and the entire offensive line of a football team. The only thing that would make this more dramatic is if you hit that like and subscribe button. Imagine this. You're sitting in an airport waiting for your flight when the person in front of you sits down and starts reading a newspaper with your face on it. If you saw that, would it make you feel stressed? Well, the company Nivea were counting on it when they set out to execute the stress test, which involved fake newspapers and fake newscasts made with the goal of making it seem like their target was a fugitive on the run. The prank ended with German authorities coming out for their big reveal.
Sie sehen so gestresst aus. Da hätten wir was für Sie.
That's right. This whole thing was an elaborate prank to promote a deodorant. I must have had nightmares for days the first time I saw The Ring. I don't know. There's just something about Samara Morgan crawling her way out of that TV that still frightens me to this day. So when the movie creators decided to put this prank together, I'm not surprised they had customers running for the door. Who knew all you needed to give people the shock of a lifetime was a fake appliance store, a sliding screen door, and one really talented actress. Walking out on a glass bridge takes a certain kind of courage that I don't think I have. So I couldn't even imagine what would be going through my mind if I heard the cracking glass beneath my feet. Luckily for these tourists, it was just an illusion with video screens and sound effects, but that doesn't make the experience any less scary. I mean, this guy was so scared he nearly chucked his iPad over the edge. These guys fixed up their truck with a brand new train horn and started going around town scaring people with the obnoxious noise. And if you couldn't tell by the look on their faces, some people really didn't like it. Yeah, big surprise, right? But little did they know, their prank was about to go very wrong. Word of advice? Don't prank the person who's about to serve you your food, unless you want it to end up on your lap. If you're looking for a way to take your pranking game back to the Cretaceous period, I've got a solution for you. Get yourself a dinosaur costume. Trust me, it doesn't matter that they've been extinct for millions of years. If you run down the hallway in one of these, it's guaranteed to make everyone in your path scream bloody murder. And how could you not? Who would ever expect to be caught up in their very own version of Jurassic Park? That's a prank 65 million years in the making. There are simple pranks, and then there are pranks that require a lot more effort. Luckily, the creators of The Conjuring 2 were willing to go all in if it meant they could give their fans the scare of a lifetime. When it was showtime, they escorted their targets into a room that was rigged with flickering lights, doubles, and one really freaky two-way mirror. But be warned, if you decide to be an actor in one of these things, you might leave the job with a few bruises.
Ah! Oh, are you okay?
I love your reaction.
Oh my God.
Okay, we can all agree that if your prank involves destroying your friend's car, then it's probably not a prank. But what happens when the car is a Ferrari and your weapon of choice is bolt cutters after winning a game of rock, paper, scissors?
That was scissors.
No, you won't.
And to make things worse, it wasn't even his. It was a rental, an act that caused almost $35,000 worth of damages.
Oh my, what the Dude, he just took a sledgehammer to it. Or whatever that thing was.
So let this be a lesson. Don't do this unless you want lawyers involved, legal fees, and one less friend. The boulder scene in Indiana Jones is one of the most iconic moments in cinema history, so it was only a matter of time before someone tried to replicate it for themselves. Unfortunately for this girl, she was less prepared for the boulder than Indiana Jones was. Picture this. You're ushered into a small room and asked to wait. On the desk in front of you is a present. You open it up, and inside, you find a mysterious red button. Do you press it? Well, if you're anything like this woman, and anyone else, you do. Which is exactly what they wanted, because the second she did, all hell broke loose. I guess we can add LG to the list of companies that are okay with frightening their customers into buying their product. Because in this terrifying display, they set out to prove the quality of their screens by pulling off an elevator prank that looked a little something like this. And it worked! Some victims even tried holding onto the railing for safety. Okay, if this happened to me, I'd probably have to take the stairs for the rest of my life. If you ever find yourself walking down the street and passing a red door with scratches on it, word of advice, don't open it. As part of the promotion of Insidious: The Red Door, Sony Pictures invited people to do just that. And some people were brave enough to actually open the door. and some probably lived to regret it. If you really want the job, the interview can often feel like a life or death situation. So I couldn't even imagine what'd be going through my mind if I walked into an interview and this happened. Turns out this whole thing was set up by LG to prove they had the highest quality screens. Now it makes sense why taking shelter from meteors was part of the job description. When these people stopped to help someone with directions, I bet they didn't know they were stepping into the center of a flash mob. Okay, even the Jumbotron was in on it. Take a mental note. If you walk into a crowded area and everyone around you drops to the ground, don't freak out. It might just be an elaborate Tic Tac commercial.
Tic Tac.
For the Invisible Man movie press tour, the filmmakers decided to give journalists the same kind of fear they expect them to feel when they step inside the theater.
Oh my God!
They rigged the interview room to make it seem like the Invisible Man was making things move.
Oh, whoa.
Sure, they're laughing, but you can tell a lot of them were genuinely spooked. The effects are so good, it's got me thinking that he's actually real.